It ends with us cast member Isabella Ferrer is now suddenly declaring through her lawyers that Justin Baldoni is harassing her by drawing her deeper into litigation and disputes that she has done her best to avoid. All because he's subpoenaing you? If subpoenas equal harassment, well then what is Blake Lively doing to me and all the other content creators? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and this update is wild. I gotta be honest. Look, I've been supportive of Isabella because I do feel like she's in an impossible situation. And technically, this is really her lawyer's fault, this latest filing, which was such a mistake. I have some quotes from Ron Zambrano as well. He was unable to attend, but his words, "This motion is crap." It's terribly drafted from a grammar standpoint, misspells a lot of names. It's also a bull-s argument meant to confuse and gaslight. And we're going to break this down and explain why. But before I do, it's important you sort of remember the history here. Now, Blake brought Isabella into this, not Justin. Blake brought her into this when she alleged that Justin was inappropriate on the set of the Young Lily's love scene in the movie, which was also in the book. And she, through what she heard, felt that Justin was inappropriate. That's what was alleged. Now, Isabella's never confirmed this or said this, but what we did instead see, while these two were never in the movie together because she was playing the young version of Blake, they were all over each other during the promotion. They were doing slumber parties. Suddenly Taylor Swift was meeting Taylor and basically getting loved bomb, it seemed, by Blake and Ryan. And honestly, I could see why Isabella chose them because they're a big, powerful couple. Honestly, they could have destroyed her career if they wanted to, as they're starting to prove, right? So Isabella chose the big, fancy couple and sadly, seemingly shunned Justin, which is what he alleged. And it's also in this thing. And so that's why Justin wanted to subpoena her to get these text messages and figure out, did you ever complain? Were you told to shun me? What kind of stuff might there be? And the only thing we've seen is his response to Blake's inappropriate allegations, where Isabella said, you are a wonderful, smart, sincere director who created such a comfortable, safe space for me. I feel like I could step into this role. I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment. And he said, oh my gosh, thank you. You were a pleasure. This is what we have to base it off of, though. Now, this text exchange was brought in by Justin. That's true. But now Isabella's lawyers are trying to paint that more nefariously. They're saying that but at this point, they're calling it the Baldoni team, even though it's the Wayfair team. They're doing that on purpose. There's so many fingerprints here from Blake Lively. It's so obvious from my perspective. Ron's as well, and others I'm going to show you. But this is seemingly written by Blake's team because it's so anti-Justin in a way. That's just we've never heard this from her. And at first when I read this, I was kind of like, well, wait, what does this mean? But let's break down some of the problems that Isabella's now going to face. Because look, she's trying to make it clear that now, not then, Baldoni has tried to manipulate, threaten, control, and otherwise act inappropriately towards Miss Ferreira. Because of the subpoena? Because of the subpoena and because of an indemnification clause, which we're going to get to in a second. But this is absolutely bonkers. Now, as we get to this, I want to throw this first point in too. She makes it clear, look, I was on this film for 4 days. I didn't get paid a lot. I wasn't involved with a lot of this, but now I'm being pulled in by Baldoni. Well, you actually were pulled in by Blake. Let's just make sure that's correct. I'm going to correct it every time. The complaint that Baldoni filed in response to Lively, not against her, in response to Lively, makes 4 direct references, including a few text messages. Some, not surprisingly, some of the text messages she sent to Baldoni were very positive. Well, why is that not surprising? Because he's a good guy. Included the types of comments one would expect from a young actress to make to the director and producer of her first feature film. So this is typical for her to lie? Is that what you're saying? And all actresses lie? I don't know, man. If I didn't have a safe time on a set, I don't think I would want to text that director how safe of an experience I had. Now, I may say, thanks so much for the experience. I had a great time. I might do something like that, but to be so specific here, this is not going to help you in a court of law if you do decide to suddenly change your tune. Let's be honest. And I can see why Justin posted it and why Justin might be surprised suddenly at the change of opinion from you, because you clearly never expressed your discomfort or any problem, it seems. So maybe he's just confused and worried as to suddenly why, out of nowhere, you're labeling him inappropriate and harassing and all this other stuff. He used these texts to craft a narrative that Miss Ferrer spent substantial time with Lively during the promotion, and that she felt compelled to shun Baldoni in repudiation of her warm words. The complaint made no other allegations that directly referenced her. Well, that's enough, though. There's enough allegations here, and Blake has subpoenaed you. So technically, why don't you just reply to the subpoena? Why didn't she just reply to the subpoena? That's the big question here. It's very strange that she didn't just, respond to the subpoena. Well, the reason she didn't respond to the subpoena is because of an indemnity clause. Now, this indemnity clause is part of her contract agreement. This provision basically says, all expenses should be covered, reasonable otherwise, suffered or incurred by the artist arising in connection with the development, production, or exploitation of the picture, and all ancillary rights related to there. So therefore, she's saying, well, you got to pay for all my legal bills. But here's the problem. First of all, what Justin then responded was like, well, no, I'm not just going to do that, because that's not how it works. If you do that, then yeah, Wayfair is going to represent you, because that's our plan is going to do that. And then when she's like, well, whoa, I don't want Wayfair to represent me. Fine. They then found some sort of mediator to try to negotiate. Okay, well, what would be covered then if you're doing this on your own? Because it might not be covered if you're not going to then come onto our lawyers, our insurance, and our lawyers' plan, is the gist of what's happening here. And she was like, well, no, that's unreasonable. I can't do that. I want to play this clip from Not Actually Golden, because she explains it very well, how this is all standard.
I have dealt with a million indemnification clauses in my career, as most of the lawyers here have, because they show up in all kinds of different places. And a lot of times, the indemnification clause itself will say, the indemnified parties will cede control of their defense over to whoever is indemnifying and paying the bills. And what you usually want, if you are the person being indemnified, is to say, I'll cede control to you of who the lawyers are and how much they charge, and if you guys are going to pay to settle the case out. But I just want to maintain control over my own, you can't agree that I'll make a public apology without involving me kind of stuff. Right?
Fair.
So they usually have some tenor of that. So number one, the idea that this would cover just responding to a subpoena, which is not an adversary proceeding, is very much in question. And number two,
and just to echo, Ron said the same thing. Indemnity clauses really are there when you yourself are a named party. This was a mistake. We even filed this motion because it implies Isabella herself is noticed that they're trying to get her to testify under subpoena. So if Baldoni's efforts to serve her by alternate methods is granted, she may be found in contempt for not showing up. Basically, this is all going to cause even more problems. And yeah, indemnity clauses do not typically cover costs associated with being third-party witnesses. You don't really need an attorney to sit down for a deposition. Another attorney for one of the sides typically steps in to defend the third-party witness. So if you're not wanting Justin to pay for it, then why isn't Blake paying for this if you got all this evidence? I don't get it. What I smell is happening, and what Ron suspects as well, is that this is a delay tactic, a way to sort of stall it. Because what's really interesting here is if you go through it, she makes 2 points of, well, Blake gave various extensions until the indemnity issue was resolved. And I think they knew this indemnity issue might take a long time to sort out, and therefore Isabella could avoid it. She even then tries to, again, paint him harassive because, well, the same things Blake asked for in her subpoena are the same things Justin asked for. It's very commutative, duplicate of the past, needing to make this overlap of categories, blah, 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 is, proving that it's all to harass Miss Ferrer. Like, come on. What? This is to harass you? You're losing me, Isabella. I've been on your side for a while, but your lawyers are not doing the right thing here. If you were subpoenaed by Blake and you're then therefore willing and ready to give it, why wouldn't you give those same things to Justin as well? Why? He has every right. Instead, it sure seems like you are trying to stall, evade, yada, yada. There's a whole part in this about they sent to the wrong 2 addresses and blah, blah, blah. It's absolute nonsense. Just respond. Your lawyer can respond. Why aren't you responding? It makes no damn sense.
It's got me fired. Discovery in this case, when they are subpoenaing content creators that they've never met simply because they have anti-Blake Lively stuff, just pisses me the fuck off. And I don't know who these Isabella Ferrer attorneys are, but I am not impressed at all. This document is meant to confuse, it is meant to conflate, it is meant to accuse, and it is like, it probably would have been easier for people to accept it if they had been written and filed 4 months ago, when it was like, oh my God, everything they're doing is so bad, and it's Darvo and all that, which is another basic thing that they say in here. I'm not buying it now. I'm not buying it. And I'm not buying it because I know that the things that they're saying, while they might sound smart to people who don't know any better, are not smart at all.
And that she's a lawyer, just so we're clear. She's a lawyer. And all these are the things that are being requested by Blake. Okay, so give them to Justin. What's the problem here? I don't get it. And there's all these emails. Oh, well, they keep asking us that we won't get the indemnification unless we send over. It never actually says that. He just, various emails here, like, will you accept the provision? Are you going to accept it? Why are you not giving us the subpoena? Why are you not refusing to accept it? Oh, and there's some bad press. Like, she barely got any press. No one knows who she is. And then here are the mean words. Now, whoever's texting anybody in this case, stop. There's a fan who's out there trying to, like, please get, unless you're actively in this case or being subpoenaed, go away and don't bother people. It's not helping. It only hurts the cause, in my opinion. And anybody who's sending these, you look dumb. You look dumb. Whether you're right or I agree with it, doesn't matter. Leave people alone. Now they're going to be used against you. Now, all that said, it's not even that bad. You suck, bish. I mean, you shouldn't say that, but a lot of this is like, just tell the truth. Stop dodging the subpoena and tell the truth. You're going to lose your audience. Now it's obvious you're going to rate you. Now this isn't nice. You fake ass crackhead. I don't support this kind of stuff at all. Why are you running away? Face the consequences of your actions. Blake and Ryan will take you down with them. Do the honorable thing. Tell the truth. I mean, he's allowed to send this. You're a celebrity now. I get way worse than this. I've gotten way worse because of Blake's subpoena now. This is a harassment. Nothing in here's, they're losers. We'll never forgive you. I would not be scared. They're losers, Blake and Ryan. Tell them. Like, people are upset with her. This is feedback. Do the right thing, Isabella. If that was your dad or family member being accused of something that they never did, well, you'd want someone to do the honorable thing too. What's happening to Justin isn't fair, and it's ruining his family and career. How is this a harassing message? Like, this is absurd. Why are you avoiding being subpoenaed? You need to be on the right side of history. Just go to court and say what happened. Amen. You are evading. Your attorney is refusing service. Why? Because he has to find you? Like, that's evading. It's like, just take it. Clearly, you took time writing this instead of just saying, yeah, we'll accept. Speak up and do the right thing. That's all I want you to do. Speak. Your career is going to tank, and I'm glad. Well, that's mean. I don't wish that on you. But just do the right thing and tell what happened. At this point, you've now aggravated the fan base that you're afraid of. And I could see why you might be afraid of, because no one's going to believe you. And there is a part of me that's like, I hope nothing did happen, because no one's going to believe you. And I see that problem. That's why I think she's in a possible situation. There are so many people in this Justice for Justin camp. They're not going to believe even if something went bad. Now, I don't think anything went bad. I don't think it's possible anything went bad that was so deemed of all this to blow up the way it did. But there is a version of this where she may have actually, looked back and go, you know what? I wish he hadn't have said that. Or, I didn't like that. Does that mean she wanted to drag this into the lawsuit like Blake did? Hell no. So I can see why she might be conflicted potentially. But did you tell Justin you were uncomfortable? That's the other problem. Just like Blake didn't mention it during the dance sequence, if she really was. Communication is key. And the reality is, in my opinion, I don't understand what could have happened to warrant what this is blown up to. And for that reason alone, Isabella, I don't understand what you're doing here and throwing and just supporting this Justin's her harasser narrative, and now you're doubling down. This is such a bad move. If you want to double down, then drop the truth and tell us if he really was. But to label him harasser now And you think you're being harassed, but we aren't? Absurd. Now, again, I don't want to point this at her. I really believe that she's just getting the worst advice. She's naive. Her attorneys screwed her big time. That's what Ron is saying as well. This is such a bad move, and I think it's going to explode in your face. But then part of me thinks, is that what Blake wanted? Oh, great. Now she's going to get worse harassment. See? See, look, there's other people getting harassed because Blake's got nothing else. Talk about creating a PR campaign. This idea that Justin's doing this for PR, Justin's fighting for his life. And you have not helped one bit. And now you're coming out trying to call him harasser because you want to avoid this lawsuit. Well, guess who brought you in the lawsuit? It's the woman right next to you in the photo. She brought you into this lawsuit. So stand up and support her proudly and loudly, or stand up and say you want nothing to do with this and nothing happened. One or the other. Pick the lane. You got to pick one at some point. You can't keep evading, in my opinion. So time to make the call. Time to grow up. We all got some tough stuff to say. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for all alerts. Smash that like button as well, and leave your comments. What do you think? Does this frustrate you as well? Again, please leave her alone. Don't harass her. Don't bother her. Don't DM her. Don't DM anybody in this case. Be a human being and a civil individual, please. I beg of you. But I want to know your thoughts. You can leave them down in the comments down below. So let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.